Welcome back to Carrick United Analysis. If you are new here, welcome to the channel. This is the place where Manchester United fans come to get calm, clear, and reliable breakdowns of everything happening at our club. No noise, no wild guessing, just real information explained simply so every single fan understands exactly what is going on. If that sounds like your kind of channel, hit subscribe, tap the bell, and let us get into today's story, because it is one that will get every United fan counting down the days on their calendar. Manchester United fans, have you been wondering exactly when we will finally see Youri Tielimans in a United shirt? Because we now have a clear picture of how his integration into the squad is expected to unfold. Our new midfield signing is officially scheduled to begin first-team training at Carrington on August 1st, and from there, a carefully structured plan will guide him toward his first appearance in front of the fans. Let us break down this entire timeline step by step, so you know exactly what to expect and when to expect it. Why Tielimans has not joined training yet? Let us start by understanding why our new signing has not already been out on the training pitch with the rest of the squad, because this is an important piece of context. Tielimans arrived at Manchester United fresh off a genuinely impressive World Cup campaign with Belgium, where he captained his country all the way to the quarterfinals of the tournament. That is a significant achievement, and it also means he has played a heavy amount of high-intensity football this summer, on top of an already demanding club season before the tournament even began. Adding to this, Tielimans picked up a thigh injury during the warm-up before Belgium's quarterfinal clash against Spain, which kept him out of that match entirely. This kind of knock, even a relatively minor one, means United's medical staff will naturally want to take extra care before easing him back into full training, rather than rushing him straight into intense sessions the moment he walks through the door. Because of all this, Tielimans has actually already visited Carrington once already, to finalize the paperwork and formalities of his transfer, but he was then sent away on a proper recovery break rather than beginning training immediately. This is exactly the same approach United have taken with every other player who was heavily involved at the World Cup this summer, prioritizing long-term fitness and player welfare over a rushed return to the training pitch. Doesn't it feel reassuring knowing the club is being this careful and sensible with a player who worked so hard for his country this summer? The August 1st return, step one of the plan. Now let us get into the actual details of the integration timeline itself, because this is where things start to get genuinely exciting. Tielimans is officially scheduled to report back to the Carrington training complex on August 1st. On this very first day back, the plan is not to throw him straight into full contact training alongside the rest of the squad. Instead, the day is structured around baseline medical assessments, physiological testing, and light individual conditioning drills. Why does a club go through this kind of careful process rather than simply putting a new signing straight into normal training? Think about it from a medical and sports science perspective. Every player's body responds differently to a break, and after a summer that included both a deep World Cup run and a slight injury concern, the medical team will want a full and accurate picture of exactly where Tielimans stands physically before allowing him to jump into higher intensity work. Baseline testing usually covers things like general fitness levels, muscle strength, flexibility, and any lingering effects from that earlier thigh issue. Physiological testing gives the coaching staff detailed data about his current conditioning compared to where he needs to be for full match sharpness. And light individual conditioning drills allow him to start building fitness gradually, working alongside sports science staff in a controlled environment, rather than immediately competing physically against teammates in full training sessions. This is smart, careful planning, exactly what you want to see from a club serious about protecting a big money signing from unnecessary injury risk right at the very start of his time at the club. August 3rd to 5th, stepping into full training. Following those initial baseline assessments, the plan moves into its next phase between August 3rd and August 5th, when Tielimans is expected to integrate into full contact tactical training sessions alongside the rest of the squad. This stage of the process is genuinely significant, because it represents the moment our new midfielder finally starts working directly alongside his new teammates in proper training conditions. Tactical sessions are where a player really starts to understand a manager's specific ideas, learning positioning, pressing triggers, and build up patterns that simply cannot be replicated through individual conditioning work alone. Interestingly, Tielimans will not be integrating into full training completely alone. He is expected to be joining fellow August returnees, including players like Amad Diallo and Noussair Mazraoui, both of whom followed similarly staggered return schedules this summer due to their own country's progress at the World Cup. Having several players integrating back into full training around the same time actually makes a lot of sense from a coaching perspective, since it allows Carrick and his staff to work with a slightly larger, more complete training group during these sessions, rather than reintegrating players one by one in isolation. Think about what this period actually means for Tielimans personally. These few days represent his real introduction to Carrick's tactical principles, his first genuine chance to build understanding and chemistry with his new midfield partners, and his opportunity to show the coaching staff exactly what he can bring to the team in a live training environment. Can you imagine the excitement in that Carrington dressing room as these returning stars finally link up together again after their long World Cup summer? August 8th, the highly anticipated debut. Now we arrive at the moment every United fan has been waiting to hear about, a potential first appearance in a United shirt. Reports suggest Tielimans could make his highly anticipated debut off the bench on August 8th in a genuinely exciting fixture against Paris Saint-Germain. Think about the magnitude of that potential full debut opponent. Paris Saint-Germain are the reigning Champions League holders, meaning any appearance against them, even in a preseason friendly, represents a serious early test against elite-level opposition. Why would the club choose to introduce Tielimans gradually, coming on as a substitute rather than starting the match outright? This is a very sensible and common approach for any player returning from a long, demanding international tournament combined with a recent injury concern. Coming off the bench allows a player to get valuable minutes and begin building genuine match sharpness without the physical demands of a full 90 minutes so early in his return to full training. This kind of build-up in match minutes matters enormously for reaching proper fitness levels heading into the new Premier League season. Simply training well is not the same as being fully prepared for the pace, physicality, and intensity of real competitive football. Getting these early preseason minutes, even in short bursts off the bench, plays a crucial role in preparing a player's body and match sharpness for the much more demanding schedule that lies ahead. Doesn't the thought of seeing Tielimans finally step onto the pitch in a United shirt, even for a short cameo against a side of PSG's quality, get your excitement building already? Why this careful, staged approach makes complete sense. Let us zoom out for a moment and think about why United and Carrick are handling this entire process with such obvious care and structure. Modern football places enormous physical demands on players, particularly during a summer that includes a major international tournament like the World Cup. Rushing a player straight back into full-intensity training and matches, especially one who has just captained his country through a deep tournament run and picked up a minor injury along the way, significantly increases the risk of a much more serious setback down the line. By structuring Tielimans' return through clear, distinct stages, baseline testing first, then full training integration, and finally match minutes off the bench, the club maximizes the chances of building his fitness properly and safely, reducing the risk of an early injury that could disrupt his entire first season at the club before it has even properly begun. This kind of careful, methodical approach also reflects well on the club's broader sports science and medical department. Every single player returning from the World Cup this summer appears to be following a similarly structured, staggered reintegration process, which speaks to a genuinely professional and forward-thinking approach to player welfare throughout the entire organization. What this timeline means for Tielimans' role in the squad, let us think a little about what this careful integration process suggests for how quickly Tielimans might establish himself as a regular starter once the season actually begins. Given that his debut is expected to come off the bench, and given the overall careful nature of this reintegration plan, it seems likely that Carrick will continue building his match fitness gradually across the remaining preseason fixtures, rather than throwing him straight into a starting role immediately once the Premier League campaign begins. This is not a reason for concern. Rather, it reflects sensible squad management from an experienced coaching staff who understand that rushing a key summer signing risks undermining his entire debut season. Building minutes gradually, first through substitute appearances in preseason, and potentially continuing that gradual build-up into the opening weeks of the competitive campaign, gives Tielimans the best possible foundation to eventually become a fully established first-choice midfielder for United. Fans who are desperate to see him make an immediate, full 90-minute impact from his very first appearance should temper those expectations slightly, at least in these opening weeks. Patience during this early integration period will likely be rewarded with a much stronger, more sustainable long-term contribution from our new midfielder throughout the season ahead. Why Tielimans fits Carrick's midfield vision. Let us also spend a moment thinking about why this specific signing matters so much to the broader vision Carrick is building in midfield this summer. Tielimans brings genuine top-level experience to United's engine room, including Premier League winning pedigree from his time at Leicester City, where he famously scored the winning goal in an FA Cup final. He also captained Belgium through a genuinely strong World Cup campaign this summer, further demonstrating his leadership qualities and his ability to perform consistently at the very highest level of international football. Combined with the other midfield additions made by United this summer, Tielimans represents another important piece in what appears to be a genuinely thorough and thoughtful rebuild of this specific area of the pitch. His experience, composure in possession, and leadership qualities should complement the energy and technical promise being added elsewhere in the squad, giving Carrick a genuinely well-balanced and versatile midfield unit heading into the new campaign. How should fans approach the coming weeks? So how should we as supporters approach these coming weeks as this integration timeline plays out? I think the smartest approach is genuine excitement combined with real patience. There is nothing wrong with counting down the days until August 1st, or getting excited about the possibility of seeing Tielimans make his debut against Paris Saint-Germain on August 8th. These are genuinely exciting milestones in the journey of any major summer signing. At the same time, we should recognize that this is a carefully structured, staged process designed specifically to protect our new signing's long-term fitness and reduce his risk of injury. If his early appearances are brief, or if it takes a little extra time before he becomes a guaranteed starting 11 regular, that should be viewed as smart, sensible management, rather than any cause for concern or frustration. Final thoughts before we wrap up. So there we have it, Manchester United family, the complete breakdown of Youri Tielimans' expected integration timeline into our first team squad. Reporting to Carrington on August 1st for baseline medical assessments and light conditioning work. Stepping into full contact tactical training between August 3rd and August 5th, alongside fellow returning stars like Amad Diallo and Noussair Mazraoui, and potentially making his highly anticipated debut off the bench against Paris Saint-Germain on August 8th, giving fans their very first glimpse of our new midfielder in a United shirt. This careful, staged approach reflects exactly the kind of thoughtful, professional planning we want to see from our club, prioritizing the long-term fitness and well-being of a player who worked so hard for his country this summer, while still building genuine excitement toward his eventual debut in front of the fans. Let me leave you with one final question before we close out today's video. Are you planning to watch closely for Tielimans' potential debut against PSG on August 8th? And how big of an impact do you think he can make once he finally gets those first minutes under his belt? Drop your thoughts down in the comments below. I read every single one, and I love hearing what gets this community excited. Thank you so much for watching today. If this breakdown helped you understand exactly what to expect from our new midfielder's return to action, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button, tap the notification bell, and share this video with a fellow United fan who has been counting down the days until we finally see Tielimans in action. This channel only continues to grow because of supporters exactly like you, and every single one of you watching is part of what makes Carrick United Analysis a trusted home for honest, reliable Manchester United coverage. Until the next video, stay patient, stay excited, and get ready to welcome Youri Tielimans onto the pitch. Come on, United.